There is a softness to the Louisiana swamp that makes you forget to be afraid. The water sits flat as poured glass. The cypress trees rise out of it, draped in Spanish moss, and the light comes down through them slow and golden, the way light does in a place that has never once been in a hurry. You put your boat in at a launch outside Houma or Morgan City. You cut the motor and drift. A heron lifts off the bank without a sound. The air smells like mud and green growth and warm rot, and it wraps around you like something familiar. This is bayou country. This is postcard country. And that softness is the oldest trick in the swamp. Because this water is not empty. It is one of the most crowded stretches of wild in all of North America. Louisiana holds somewhere close to 3 million acres of coastal wetland, and packed into that dark water is a density of predators most people never let themselves picture. The swamp did not get gentle. It just got good at looking that way. A green so thick and a water so brown that it can hide almost anything just below the surface. And it does. So today, we are counting down the 13 most dangerous animals in the swamps of Louisiana, ranked not simply by how much damage they can do, but by how completely they have slipped out of the picture you carry when you think of a slow afternoon on the bayou. From the ones lying right beside the boat launch to the ones down there in the mud, you would never in your life guess were waiting. And by the time we reach number 1, you may realize you have stood closer to it than you ever wanted to, and never felt a thing. If you like the kind of story that makes you look twice at country you thought you knew, take a second to subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it keeps stories like this coming. And tell me, which parish or which stretch of water are you watching from tonight? Terrebonne? Atchafalaya? Somewhere far from any swamp at all? Drop it in the comments. Let's get into the list, because the first name on it is already closer to your boat than you think. Number 13, the nutria. You would laugh at the idea of fearing a rodent, and most people do. The nutria looks like a beaver that took a wrong turn, a big, orange-toothed swamp rat brought over from South America in the 1930s for the fur trade, then let loose to breed across the entire Gulf Coast. And breed it did. There are millions of them in Louisiana now, so many that the state pays a bounty just to keep the numbers down. On its own, a nutria will not hunt you, but here's the part people step right past. A cornered nutria is 20 pounds of muscle with a set of long, curved incisors that never stop growing, and it will turn and fight when it feels trapped. Fishermen and trappers have been bitten badly, down to the bone when they reached where they shouldn't have. Worse is what the animal carries. Nutria are walking reservoirs of pathogens, and their waste fouls the very water people wade and fish in, spreading parasites and bacteria through the shallows. They chew the roots out of the marsh itself, collapsing the land that protects everything else. Number 13 is the reminder that the swamp's danger does not always have teeth like a monster. Sometimes it just has teeth, and it was there the whole time, paddling past your dock in the dark. Number 12, the snapping turtle. You would never think of the thing sitting on the bottom of the bayou as a predator worth naming. It looks like a rock with a tail. But the alligator snapping turtle, native to Louisiana waters, is the largest freshwater turtle in North America, and a big one tips the scale past 150 pounds. It does not chase. It does not need to. It sits in the mud with its mouth open, a small pink lure wriggling on its tongue like a worm, and it waits, sometimes for hours, until a fish or a frog or a careless hand drifts close enough. Then the head strikes out, faster than you can pull back, and the beak closes with a force that can take a finger clean off. Divers and noodlers who reach blind into underwater holes have learned this the hard way, and that is the whole danger of it. You will never see it before you feel it, because it is the color of the bottom and it does not move until the exact instant it must. Number 12 is the swamp's oldest ambush, wearing a shell older than the cypress trees above it, waiting the way it has waited for 100 million years. Number 11, the fire ant. Don't let the size fool you. The red imported fire ant is not native either, but it has conquered Louisiana so completely that its mounds dot every levee, every field edge, every dry hummock in the marsh. Step on one and you break open a city of them. Thousands pour out in seconds, and they do not bite once and leave. They grip your skin with their jaws, then sting again and again in a circle, injecting venom that burns like the name says. For most people, it is agony and a rash of white pustules, but for those who are allergic, a swarm can bring on anaphylaxis, and people have died. Here is the thing about the swamp. When the water rises, fire ants do not drown. They link their bodies into a living raft and float, a writhing island of venom, drifting on the flood until it touches solid ground or your boat. Number 11 is proof that the swamp can hurt you in numbers as easily as in size. It was under your feet the whole time, and you only found out when you stood in the wrong place. Number 10, the black bear. Most folks have no idea Louisiana even has bears. But the Louisiana black bear roams the bottomland forests of the Atchafalaya Basin and the Tensas River region, a subspecies once so beaten down it was listed as threatened. It has since recovered enough to be delisted, which means there are more of them out there now than at any point in living memory. A male can top 400 pounds. It is shy, it wants nothing to do with you, and it will almost always leave first. Almost. A sow with cubs, or a bear that has learned to raid campsites and fish coolers, is a different animal entirely. Their strength is absurd. A single swipe can crush bone. And out in the flooded timber where sightlines vanish behind cypress and vine, you can walk up on one before either of you knows it. Number 10 is the giant these swamps hid so well that people forgot to believe in it, living quietly in the green the whole time, closer to the boat ramp than you would ever guess. Number 9, the copperhead. Climb one rung and the danger goes quiet and low. The southern copperhead haunts the drier edges of the swamp, the leaf litter, the wood piles, the hummocks where you step out of the boat to stretch your legs, and it is a master of doing nothing. It does not rattle. It does not flee. Its copper and tan bands melt so perfectly into fallen leaves that you can stare straight at one and not see it. It trusts that camouflage completely, and it holds its ground when you get close, which is exactly how people get struck. A hand set down for balance, a bare foot on the bank. Its venom is rarely fatal to a healthy adult, and that is the honest truth of it. But the bite is a searing, tissue-killing wound that can put you in the hospital. And out here, hours from a road, far from anti-venom, rarely fatal is a phrase that can turn on you fast. Number 9 is the snake you have almost certainly already walked past, the one that let you. Number 8, the wild hog. We're at the halfway mark now, and if you're still with me, you're the kind of person who actually wants to know what's out in that water, not the tourism brochure version, the real one. So take a second and subscribe if you haven't, because everything from here up is the part people flat out refuse to believe is living in these swamps. Now, the wild hog. Feral swine number in the hundreds of thousands across Louisiana, and they are not the fat pink pigs of a farmyard. These are lean, dark, tusked animals, some over 300 pounds, running in groups called sounders, tearing up the marsh in the dark. A boar's tusks are self-sharpening blades, and a cornered or wounded hog will charge, slashing upward at the legs with a speed that does not fit its bulk. Hunters and hikers have been gored, some seriously. They carry disease, they breed faster than anything can control, and they own the night in the bottomlands. Number 8 is the reminder that some of the worst danger in this swamp was never native to it at all. It was turned loose, and it thrived, and now it runs the dark. Number 7, the coral snake. Now the animals start to genuinely surprise people. The eastern coral snake lives in Louisiana, and almost nobody down here ever sees one, which is exactly what makes it dangerous. It is small, secretive, and it spends most of its life burrowed under leaf litter and loose soil at the swamp's dry margins. Its bands of red, yellow, and black are beautiful, and that beauty is the trap. People pick it up thinking it's a harmless mimic and get the old rhyme wrong. Its venom is a neurotoxin, drop for drop among the most potent of any snake in North America. It does not destroy tissue like a pit viper, it works on the nervous system, quietly. And the terrible thing is that symptoms can take hours to appear, long enough for a person to decide they're fine and go on with their day. Then the eyelids droop, the breathing slows, and it becomes an emergency that no home remedy can touch. Number 7 is the small, shy jewel of the swamp floor that punishes the one mistake of underestimating it. Number 6, the alligator gar. Drop back into the water and meet a living fossil. The alligator gar is one of the largest freshwater fish in North America, a torpedo of armored scale that can exceed 8 feet and hit 200 pounds in Louisiana's rivers and backwaters. Its long snout is lined with 2 rows of needle teeth, and it has been swimming these waters, essentially unchanged, for 100 million years. It does not hunt people, let's be honest about that. What makes it dangerous is its size and its power in close quarters. Bow fishermen and anglers who haul one into a boat have been badly cut and struck by the thrashing of an animal that heavy with a mouthful of teeth. Its eggs are outright toxic to humans. And there is something else. The pure, primal shock of feeling something that long and that armored slide past your legs in brown water where you cannot see your own feet. Number 6 is the ancient one, the giant that shares your swimming hole and asks nothing of you but to be left alone, and to be respected when you're wrong about how big it got. Number 5, the bull shark. And here is where the swamp stops making sense to most people, because sharks are supposed to belong to the salt, to the open blue water offshore. The bull shark did not read that rule. It is one of the only sharks on Earth that can thrive in fresh water, its body able to shed salt and push miles inland up rivers and brackish bayous. In Louisiana, bull sharks have been documented far up the freshwater systems, gliding through water where a person has every reason to believe no shark could ever be. They are stocky, aggressive, and territorial, and they are widely considered among the most dangerous sharks to humans anywhere in the world, precisely because they live where we swim, in the murky shallows near shore. You cannot see through this water, neither can the shark, which is why it hunts by feel and by strike. Number 5 is the ocean's most notorious predator, 1,000 miles from where the story says it belongs, sharing the same brown bayou as the kids off the dock, and it was there before anyone thought to look. Number 4, the water moccasin. Now we come to the one the locals actually name when you ask them what they fear. The cottonmouth, the water moccasin, is the only semi-aquatic viper in North America, and it owns the water's edge across every parish in Louisiana. This is the snake people mean. Thick-bodied, dark, it drapes over low branches above the water and swims across the open bayou with its head held high. And when it feels threatened, it does something no other snake does. It stands its ground, coils, and gapes its mouth wide open, showing the shocking white lining that gives it its name. That display is a warning. It is also a promise. Its venom is hemotoxic, destroying blood cells and tissue. And while deaths are rare with treatment, the bite is a medical emergency that can cost fingers, function, sometimes limbs. Fishermen get bitten reaching into overhanging brush. Waders get struck near the bank. And unlike most snakes, the cottonmouth does not always run. It has a reputation for holding, even advancing when cornered. Number 4 is the reason the old-timers tell you to never, ever put your hand somewhere your eyes haven't been first. It has been ruling the water's edge the whole time. Number 3, the mosquito. And now, the real twist of this whole list. Because the deadliest animal in the Louisiana swamp is not any of the giants. It weighs almost nothing. It is the mosquito, and worldwide, its kind kills more human beings than every other animal on this list combined, many times over. The swamp is a mosquito factory. Every square foot of still water is a nursery. Down here, they carry West Nile virus, which Louisiana sees in real numbers every single year, along with encephalitis strains that can cause permanent brain damage or death. It does not ambush you. It does not need to. It comes to you, in clouds, drawn by your breath and your warmth, and it takes what it needs without your ever feeling more than an itch. That is the horror of number 3. The danger you swat at absent-mindedly is statistically the one most likely to actually end you. The postcard evening on the bayou, the golden light, the still water, every bit of it is breeding the deadliest thing out there. It was in the air around your head the whole time. Number 2, the American alligator. And of course we arrive here. The alligator is the face of the Louisiana swamp, and it earns it. There are close to 2 million wild alligators in this state. Read that number again. A big bull can pass 13 feet and weigh half a ton, and its bite is one of the most powerful ever measured in the animal world. Thousands of pounds of pressure snapping shut in a fraction of a second. Here is the piece people forget. The alligator was hunted to the edge of oblivion by the mid-20th century, so nearly gone that it made the endangered list. Then it was protected, and it came roaring back so completely that Louisiana now runs a managed harvest of tens of thousands a year. That recovery is a triumph, and it means the water is fuller of them now than your grandfather ever saw. They hunt by ambush, holding motionless at the surface like a floating log, then exploding upward with a lunge and a death roll that no person can fight. Attacks are rare, and that is true, but they happen. On fishermen, on swimmers, on dogs pulled off the bank in a heartbeat. Number 2 didn't just survive these swamps, it came back and reclaimed them, and we are all guests in the water it rules again. And that leaves 1. Number 1 is the thing I warned you about at the very start, the one you may have stood a few feet from, in the water, and never felt at all. It isn't the biggest, it isn't the loudest, it's the water itself, and what lives invisibly inside it. Number 1, The bacteria in the warm water, Vibrio vulnificus. Remember what I told you at the beginning, that you may have already stood right beside number 1 and never known it? This is why. Vibrio vulnificus is a bacterium that thrives in the warm, brackish water of the Gulf Coast, the exact water that fills these swamps and bayous all summer long. You cannot see it. You cannot smell it. There is no ripple, no warning, no coil in the brush. It does not need to bite you. It only needs a way in, and the swamp is full of ways in. A fishing hook nick, a cut from an oyster shell, a scrape on a cypress knee, a blister you forgot about. The bacteria enters through that opening, and in the most severe cases, it moves with a speed that terrifies even doctors, causing a flesh-destroying infection that can require amputation or turn septic and kill within a day or two. People have gone wading on a warm afternoon, felt fine, and been fighting for their lives before the next sunset. That is why number 1 sits at the top, not because it's the most fearsome to look at, but because it is the one the swamp hides most completely. Every other animal on this list you might at least glimpse. This one you carry home in a scratch you never thought twice about. Number 1 is the danger with no face, no eyes, no sound. The swamp's quietest killer, waiting in the very water that looked so warm and so harmless when you stepped in. So here is what this list is really about. It was never just about being afraid of the water. It's about how easily the swamp convinces you it's asleep. You put in your boat, and the cypress light comes down gold and slow, and the whole place seems to be holding still just for you. It isn't. It never was. The nutria paddling past your dock in the dark, the snapping turtle open-jawed on the bottom, the cottonmouth draped in the branch above the bank, the gator floating like a log with 2 eyes, the shark riding the tide up a freshwater river, and the thing with no face at all, waiting in the warm water for one small opening. They were all there the whole time. The swamp was never tame. It just let you believe it was, the way still water always does. If this changed the way you'll look at that flat brown water next time you're out on it, subscribe and stay for the next one, because there is always more down there than the surface admits. And the next time the bayou goes quiet and golden and it feels like the whole place is asleep, remember what's holding still just beneath it. You were never really alone out on that water. You only thought you were.